Welcome back to Beyond the Helmet. I'm your host, Steve McGrath, and in this episode, I'm pleased to bring you my conversation with Lamarr Houston. Now, Lamarr just wrapped up his 8-year NFL career, officially retiring as a Raider just a couple months ago. And he talks about now, not just what that was like, but what he's doing now with League Ventures. He's in angel investing. But we're going to talk about the Texas years. That's right. As a Longhorn, when all he did was win, how he parlayed that over to the Raiders, and of course also the Bears, the Texans. So I'm going to let Lamarr tell his story. But before we get into that, I need to remind you all that we're brought to you by Team Builder. And Team Builder works with over 500 high school football programs nationwide, as well as colleges and the NFL. So go to teambuilder.com, use the promo code VICTORY. You're going to get a free gift, and that's for anything weight room related. And also, I just want to remind you all about Lofa to Tupu's Zone in CBD. Check that out. I promise you it's worth your time. Now, without any further ado, here's my conversation with Lamarr Houston. All right, I am pleased to be joined by former Longhorn and 8-year NFL player Lamarr Houston. Lamarr, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. Despite everything that's going on, we're doing the best we can with the social distancing and whatnot. And you told me before we started that you're playing full-time teacher as well as dad with the kids at home. So what's a day in the life like right now?
Fortunately, my son, he's been homeschooled actually prior to this, for a month or so. So, he has a pretty decent schedule. He wakes up, at 10, he goes to school, and then we go on lunch break, and we have a little recess, and then we come back and do some more school. But when the virus hit, his little brother had to stay home too. So now we had to working with him and not letting him distract his older brother. So, it got a little challenging, but thanks to we boost that up around here, and they actually get a lot of work
I don't think discipline's going to be a problem for them.
done.
Not with the new principal in town.
Oh yeah, I wear a nice brown suit with those penny loafers.
No, and I wanted to ask because just 2 months almost to the day, you have the 1-day contract for you to retire as a Raider. So what was that whole whirlwind like, just going through that actual experience, signing the contract, but actually officially closing the chapter on that part of your life?
Wow. It was a day. Everybody knows it's coming, but it's the day you can't see. And just walking in that building again, and it being the place where I signed my first NFL contract, with Al Davis, and being able to have the honor of being handpicked by him as a draft classes he ever picked. It was just an eerie, like, so happy, and now it's like, and it's still a happy place, but it's a little bittersweet, because everybody misses the game of football when they retire. I don't. You miss it. It's something that's a part of you. So those old hallways and old locker rooms in Oakland, and be able to actually be in Alameda and not Vegas was pretty special. It's very, very. It was the right way to close it out.
Definitely. I mean, I can only imagine, but that seems like a very fitting way for it to end. But that being said, it's not like you're sitting around doing nothing, of course, because outside of being a dad, the principal, and everything else, you've had your foot in some other territories professionally, going back a couple years now. So do you mind updating everyone with, what exactly League Ventures is, and what you've been spending your time and effort on?
Yeah, angel investing education platform. Take the opportunity to educate current and retired players on the space of venture capital and trying to make those the that are around it. Yeah, it's risky, but we like to show guys how to mitigate that risk by working through their network and finding the professionals in the industry. We have a small portfolio, about 5 companies in September. And TPGs, we invest in CPGs health and wellness and esports, and some tech, startup to growth stages, and we usually write small checks to.
So obviously this is very different than the X's and O's of a playbook. So can you just talk a little bit about how you got into this, how long you've been at it, and just sort of the idea of understanding that being a professional athlete is a small point in time, right? I mean, that you never know when that door is going to shut, but it's absolutely going to shut at some point. Can you just talk about how you proactively set yourself up while you were playing to be in a position where you weren't going to run out of money and you actively worked to create this next chapter in your life?
Well, I had an experience when I was first coming into the league. I had a poor financial advisor, and he was, just as shady and dirty as could be. And then, I had the inclination to really pay attention to him. And ever since then, I got very hands-on. After I fired him, I got very hands-on with in educating myself. So I actually took it upon myself to do a lot of the continued education programs offered through the NFL. And one of those programs I took was the personal finance at Notre Dame, where I met my business mentor, Richard Pigmecca, who is actually into angel investing and was the lawyer for the underwriting on the Stratus Levi Center downtown San Francisco. So over like a time frame of like 7 to 8 years, he would send me a lot of business pitches and just ask me questions and kind of like teach me about it. And I didn't really realize he was, grooming me for looking at investments and things like that. Then once I retired, me and my friend Desmond Bryant, who I used to play with in Oakland on the D line, we went to a venture internship in Boston that was held by DraftKings, and we were just like, you know what, we think we can do venture capitalism. We can bring our own wrinkle to it and really educate guys in the space and get them to join us on board. So we started League Ventures.
That's awesome. And right now, not trying to give away any big secrets, but what do you see for League Ventures over time? What do you want it to grow to be, and ultimately, what space is it going to occupy?
Well, we are definitely we are geared towards the NFL. That's where we have our experience. That's those are the guys we are always concerning ourselves with. It's the player, and we are trying to build this platform to be integrated into their already standing symposiums and things like that for rookies. So hopefully one day we build ourselves up to where we can, be something that works with the NFLPA.
That's awesome. And obviously you seem like you're on the right path. You guys definitely have the background for it, you and Des. So I'm sure that as time goes on, you're going to break down that door. But
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to hear how it goes. But for the time being, I wanted to just back it up a couple of years because for us to even be able to have this conversation, right, you did a couple of things on the football field. Man, can you walk us back to when you're 16, 17 years old? You're the stud defensive end prospect.
Oh, well,
what were you even thinking about, man? How does this road to Texas come together?
When I was in high school, I was actually a running back.
That's right, a running. Yeah, that's right. A running back as well.
I didn't even play. Actually, funny part is when I was that age and someone actually told me I was going to play D-line, I was like, shit, okay. I remember the coach. I remember clear as day. The coach from Notre Dame came and was like, how do you feel about having your hand in the dirt? And I was like, I don't know about that, my man. I like playing linebacker. I like playing running back. If I don't play running back, I don't mind playing linebacker. But as far as like putting my hand in the dirt, I don't know. I don't think that's for me. So that's what I said when I was like 16, 17 to our recruiter. So, lo and behold, I actually ended up playing D-line in the league. And they told me that in college I ended up playing D-line as soon as I got there to Texas. So it was a great time. I couldn't complain. I had a lot of colleges trying to recruit me. So it was basically for me, I spent most of my time trying to like, you know, keep myself humble, you know, keep myself chill with the kids at my high school, and not like get a big head and be like, oh, it's SC coming in here, it's Nebraska coming in here, and you know, and all this stuff. Because like I had an offer from Nebraska like the last day of my sophomore year, basically. So you know, when that started rolling in, I knew I needed to take football like more and more serious and like really dedicate some personal time to it and try and grow in my craft and be ready to play Division I ball. So at that age, like I kind of figured like, boom, okay, I'm starting to get these looks. I'm starting to get like real D1 football schools, LSU letters, you know, Nebraska letters, Cal letters, Stanford letters. And it was just like, okay, I need to like really prepare myself like to have a B senior year. So I spent all summer running 600s, 660s, and 6 200s in a mile every day. And then I was ready to go.
So what was it about Coach Brown? How did the Longhorns sink their teeth into you and get you to go there?
They forced me now. You know, Coach Brown is just he's one of those people who's very cerebral and just he has a way of talking to people with his words, and he's very, very convincing, man. As you can see at North Carolina, they're already beating rivals year one, you know.
Yeah.
So
And were you surprised to see him come out of retirement for that job?
I was shocked. I thought, you know, he was done. He won a couple national championships. We went to the national championship. You know, I thought he just, you know, was ready to move on. But apparently, you know, the guys like that, the really good ones, it's hard for them to leave. So, you know, I hope he has all the best. I wish him all the best success at North Carolina. But when he recruited me in high school, he did a great job because he's very kind to my parents. He knew what we were looking for as far as like education and family. So, you know, he was very supportive. And, you know, they came and visited and took us to dinner and stuff like that. But he's a very, very smart guy. With the way he carries himself is very businesslike. And he teaches you a lot when you go to school with him. Or, you know, he's your head coach. So
Right.
I appreciate him.
Now, was there anything about the Vince Young era that kind of made you think, well, you know what, putting the burnt orange on wouldn't be so bad?
Yeah, when they won the national championship versus SC. I mean, my senior year, they had a magical my senior year in high school, they had a magical year. So, you know, just watching them blow out Colorado by 70 and just beat all these teams was like, man, you know, that's where I want to be. I want to be winning with guys like that, you know, and just you know, that. And good thing VY, I appreciate VY for setting that example because, like, as soon as you got to Texas, you know, like, this is what the standard is and this is where we're trying to go every year. Excuse me. So my freshman year, we went 10-3. It was like everybody was distraught. It was so bad. Like, the fans were mad. The players were disappointed. Like, I came out of high school like 6-4. I was like, yo, we went 10-3. It's just good. But apparently, you know, it wasn't our standard. And we got it right by the time I graduated.
Yeah, and that's I wanted to ask you about just you guys won so many games, but ultimately there's a loss here, a loss there that kind of keeps you away from winning the ultimate goal. But you guys win so many games. How do you think of, or how do you feel about your overall experience there being so close and one of the top programs year in and year out?
Great experience. I just, you know, it's just so hard to believe. Sometimes I say it's like, oh, we only lost 4 games. Like, it's just winning that much. It was something that we really loved and enjoyed, and playing at that level in country is something that you'll never forget. And then my last 2 years were just like, I mean, there weren't much better years of college football you can ask for. We lost 1 game my junior year, then which happened championship, but you know, those 2 last years, we said we were gonna and we met our goal. But we made it there though.
And how hard is that to see the leader of that program? Nothing against anyone else, of course, but for what Colt did there, to have that be the way that you go out, you get hurt, and then a true freshman quarterback has to come. I mean, against Alabama. I mean, like how? And I'm not trying to take this to a bad place right now, but like, how much does that just hang with you?
I mean, it's Colt did his best, and he got hurt and couldn't blame him. That happens. It's a part of the sport. You just wish you had another chance to do it again and be able to get him to play the whole game. It's just you wish it didn't end that. It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. It's 13 years. I still haven't popped it in my
mouth. All right, so I won't talk about Texas Tech in junior year. Moving on.
And I think we Tebow in the Florida Gators, because we had Coach Muschamp. He had a good idea like what that SEC team was about. He knew how to handle them. I think we had a fair shot.
It would have been an all-time battle.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the brighter days. And actually, before you get drafted, linebacker, running back in college. Like, all right, Lamarr, you're probably going to be in the D-line. But you actually move into defensive tackle while you're at college. They even, you're further away from touching the ball. How did you embrace that positional change? How did it come about?
Everything was changing for me. I just was trying to learn on the go. I never to going to play DN to going to go play D tackle was like, give me a break. But no, I just had to learn on the go and try and develop as I played. And one of those funny things was all my teammates used to laugh at me because I couldn't get in a 3-point stance. I wasn't used to doing it, and point stance and come off. That's so old school. That's so old for me. And my D-line coach was like, that's how they used to play back in the 60s, but you know what? I'm going to let you do it. So I played in the 4-point stance, and that was the quickest way for me to learn and to be able to have success. So, the whole transition helped me become an overall better D lineman. And by the time I got to the NFL, like I was able to, because I had played defensive, it helped me develop into like all around defensive lineman type.
Right. Particularly, talking about the NFL now, the latter part of your career, you get to the Bears, you're playing a little bit more in space, more like a linebacker type rusher, but getting yourself grounded as a defensive tackle, then moving out to defensive end. I mean, so really just that ability to have played at different spots, did that really help you sort of hit the ground running when you got to the NFL? Because you didn't really skip a beat.
Yeah, I think the versatility. I was able to be plugged in more. So like I wasn't Tommy Kelly, but I was 300 pounds, so I could play in the middle. I was fast enough to play defensive end and tight end, so it really helped me have kind of like a niche game, different stuff.
Yeah. Now, when you're at Texas, the first name that pops to mind is Brian Arakpo. But, so when you think about him, and then when you get to the Raiders, and it's Tommy Kelly, it's Richard Seymour, how much did guys that were just studs of their position, how much did they sort of help you pick up and learn different nuances of whether it was pass rush or just, playing the position?
A bunch. Arakpo taught me a lot about hard work and how to play and how to continually just get out. Standpoint, but Tommy Kelly and Richard Seymour really taught me the craft of the game, more about offensive linemen and their body positions and their body language and they're doing should be looking for one of the pro tips of the game. Pre-snap read on what's going on.
Now, should Seymour be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, most definitely. That's one of the best football. Him and Tom Kelly. But honestly, and Kelly was a better defensive. At least pass rushing wise, he more similar to me, where he started out at defensive end and then moved into defensive more. But and he also kind of had a little more. Richard Seymour, man, he just took over the game. Like he, it wasn't like you'd be like, oh yeah, he likes using the club rip or he likes using the chop. Like no, he just manhandled. I mean, he's the only person I've seen tackle the quarterback with the guard. Literally, dude, we were playing the Seahawks. We were playing Hasselbeck out there. We were playing the Seahawks, and he the guard and just threw him. It was like, wow. Then he threw up the X.
And before we move off of Rockpo, have you had any of his cupcakes? I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing now.
And I've had some Gigi's Cafe cupcakes. They're delicious. Me and my boys love them.
All right.
They were great. It was delicious.
Nice. Well, going from what you were doing in Oakland, moving over to the Bears, how did you sort of mentally get past, or just tell me, what was it like dealing with, I think it's 3 coaches in 3 years, Tom Cable.
Yeah.
So what's
Dennis
that like?
Allen,
Just getting
Hugh Jackson.
yeah, just the spinning wheel of, new faces, new schemes, and maybe the terminology or schemes didn't change that much year to year, but how do you just sort of try to be a professional and be good at your job when your environment keeps changing?
You have to focus. You have to focus on what your goals are, what you're really trying to get, where you're trying to take your career. Changing in football, but if you keep your mind still, you're able to focus on your goals. You'll be able to accomplish, and basically just really have to dedicate yourself to the game.
And how much, not that changes, but how much does signing a big free agent deal and moving you, I don't know who you're living with, if it's just you or if there's a significant other, kids, going then to Chicago. So completely changing your living situation. And now there's an influx of all this new money. How do you now deal with just making that decision and then trying to focus and be a professional again, but in a completely, new team, new position?
You only have this money because you're here to do one thing, and that's play ball. You didn't get this money to do anything else but play ball. When I got paid, I was very excited to becoming a part of the Chicago Bears team and stepping in a new leadership role and trying to, help a team change their franchise around to a winning franchise. So I was very excited, very thrilled. My family was happy. It could be better, but the money. I got a lot of money, and I really just wanted to put it away. It was a dream of mine to get a big contract. I actually got a big contract, made it to the second contract, so I couldn't complain. I just, I wanted to put it away, save as much as I can, and just keep playing ball.
Yeah, and unfortunately, your time in Chicago, you suffer a couple of ACL injuries. Were those the first major injuries of your career?
Yeah, those were. I've never been injured before. Besides regular, dinged up football stuff, sprained ankles, maybe a little AC sprain or something. But that was my first major injury.
Well, then specifically the first one, man, what's that like to just get tossed that? I'm sure, over all the years, you'd seen guys get dinged up like that. I mean, a legit injury, and you're like, well, thankfully it's not me. When it is you, how do you deal with the isolation from the team, the rehab? I'm sure mentally, you got, some negative voices going on in your head.
Well, for me, it was like, I wanted to keep everything positive, and like the most negative stuff came from like outside, like people saying, "Oh, you're not gonna be the same. You're not gonna have that same burst. You're not gonna be able to run the same. You're not gonna be able to do this and do that and do this." And it was just like, for me, I knew I had to block out all that white noise and focus on what was important to me. and that was get back to playing ball and get back at a healthy rate and being healthy. So I just took that and used it as focus and honed myself on thinking about football every day, thinking about past and being around my teammates. And I try to go to games and just, basically try and get back and be at the place I want better. So hopefully I think I did that because I came back and I had the best career year of my career. So
yeah, if only they traded Jared Allen sooner.
Yeah. Much sooner.
Now, how much crap did you get from people with how the first ACL injury happened? What was it as bad as I'm thinking it might have been?
Oh, it was bad. My college teammates, pro teammates, old pro teammates, kids I grew up with, like, the whole city of Boston. Like it was funny. Like, people were just. I even had my friends like gifs and like videos. Like, look, people never forget. And I was like, oh yeah, that was me. But yeah, people were giving me a hard. And I'm actually friends with Stephen Tulloch, who did it the week before me that year. So it was just like people were like, and it was like worse to be the second person who did it. Because when he did it the first time, I was like, oh. Then when I did it, they were like, come on.
But I mean, the fact that you didn't do anything, it was just like a very nonchalant movement and then all of a sudden
jumped and just landed and popped.
You just felt the pop?
Yeah, just felt the pop. And it's crazy because it wasn't like extremely painful. I think until like maybe probably like 4 or 5 hours after, when the adrenaline stops rushing, it was like, you don't really feel anything, but then you can feel you can tell your knee is unstable when you start to unstable when you walk. And I think that's like where you get the shock. Cause like when it pops, it just pops, and like, it's not like, you can feel it burst and then there's pain. It's just like, oh, because like when it happened, I was like, what was that kind of noise? I was like, oh, that didn't. I heard a boom. I was like, ooh, that does not sound good. And then when I got up, that's when it set in. I tried to walk and I was like, ooh, oh no, my knee's unstable. It's like something's not right. And that's when I knew, it had happened. So.
Now, dealing with it the second time, I'm sure you were used to that feeling. So you knew when you felt it, you're like, oh no, here we go again. At that point, trying to battle back from that, just like, how much do you have to just get that trust in yourself back that like, nope, it's stable, it's stronger than it was before, it's not going to happen again? I feel like so much of it is just mental, it's not physical.
Oh, it is. It's a huge mental hurdle. And it just was like, you know what? Okay, you've been here before. You know exactly what to do. You know what the routine is. You know how to get it done. You just got to get it done. So, I just went in and immediately just started doing the same process that I've been already doing. And it was able to help me come out fairly healthy and still able to play.
So just getting to the end of your career, what was it like for you? What's up? We got a guest.
Say hi, David.
Hi.
What's up?
Tell him your name.
I'm David.
David,
David, I'm the Houston Silly Man.
David, I hope your new homeschool teacher is doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Good answer.
I'm eating sunny vitamins.
Good.
Goodbye. I said thank you for coming on the show, David.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. You made the show.
And why is there other pictures?
Because those are his other podcast people that he's got on the show, I guess.
Yeah, I got a couple Hall of Fame guys up here.
Bye.
Yeah. Never quiet moment in quarantine.
No, I can imagine. I just wanted to wrap it up with, what were your thoughts on how your time, that 2017 season ended, with it just being a bit of a roller coaster?
Well, I was happy the way 17 ended. I ended with 5 sacks. I couldn't ask for much more. It was enough for me to come back and finish strong like that after 2 injuries, and couldn't complain.
Got it. Well, Lamarr, the very last question I wanted to ask you, because I think it's the most important use of our time here, is what is the best advice you would give to a young athlete, given everything you were able to accomplish in the NFL?
Focus. Dedicate yourself to your craft, and everything outside of that, it'll take care of itself.
All right. Well, David, I hope you heard that. You got to focus. You got to get your work done. You got to do a good job if you're going to live up to that example. But Lamarr,
I need to tell you something too.
Hit me.
When in the virus, me and that Mom and I didn't get sick because we stayed home. And
he said during the virus we didn't get sick because we stayed home.
And
that's the best advice.
People in the virus got caps on their mouth, and that was nothing Mom told me.
I think Mom did a good job.
Mom told me that because that's why I already know this time.
Well, way to go. I hope you don't get sick. Keep listening to Mom and Dad. I think you're in good hands.
Thank you.
Lamarr, man, thank you so much for taking the time.